everyone. Welcome to Chapter 4 of the course Introduction to Sustainability. In Chapter 4, we will talk about pollution. So what are the causes, the consequences, and solutions of pollution? The learning outcomes of this chapter are, so in this chapter, we will talk about what is pollution, and I will present the different types of pollution, and I will present mainly the 4 types of pollution: air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, and soil pollution. And for each type of pollution, I will talk about the causes, consequences, and the solution to reduce this type of pollution. What's pollution? So pollution is a contamination by chemical or other agents that renders part of the environment unfit for intended or desired use. These uses also, and very importantly, include all wildlife and ecological requirements to sustain life in all its natural forms. And by definition, the environmental pollution can be defined as an undesirable change in the physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of the air, water, or land that can affect human health. There are mainly 5 types of pollution: noise pollution, soil pollution, radioactive pollution, air pollution, and water pollution. We will start by talking about air pollution. So air pollution occurs when the air contains gases, dust, fumes, or odor in harmful amounts. In addition, it is when concentrated gases exceed safe limits. As you can see here, there are some examples about air pollution, such as smoking, such as air pollution from transportation, from cars and airplanes, and also from generating electricity in power plants. There are 2 types of air pollution. Air pollution can be outdoor, but also it can be indoor. In outdoor, we talk about smog, particulates, acid rain, and greenhouse gases. And in indoor air pollution, we talk about smoking, the stove, cosmetic and cleaning materials, and insecticide. There are 2 types of sources of air pollution. One, we call it natural sources or natural causes, and the second one, human sources. In natural sources, there are forest fires, volcanic eruption, and pollen grains of flowers. However, in human sources, there are deforestation. It means when we cut trees, and here in this case, the amount of CO2 increases in the atmosphere. Why? Because trees absorb or take the CO2 and release oxygen. Second, the human source of air pollution is the emission from vehicles. Third type is rapid industrialization, and as you know, industrialization, so it can cause a huge amount of CO2 emissions from factories and from industries also. And the 4th human source of air pollution is the wars. Here in this slide, you can see the main sources of emission of air pollutants. It is approximately, so here we can see that the industry is responsible for 52% of air pollutants, followed by transportation, and then agriculture 10%, and then consumer and commercial products, and then commercial and residential heating, and other 2% other sources. What are the types of air pollutants? There are 2 types of air pollutants. One we call primary, and the second we call secondary. What is the difference between them? Primary are the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and nitrogen monoxide. Primary pollutants are converted into other compounds in the atmosphere, and here we call them, or they become the secondary pollutions or the secondary pollutants. Why? Due to chemical reaction with each other or photochemical. Air pollution affect human. How air pollution can affect human? So as you know, prolonged smoking or exposure to air pollutants can overload it or break down the natural defenses, such as right in our nose, and thick mucus in the lining of the upper respiratory tract, causing disease like lung cancer, asthma, chronic bronchitis. Also, air pollution affects the environment by creating acid rain, and acid rain kills plant life and pollute rivers and streams and also erodes stonework. Moreover, the air pollution also cause global warming. Why? Because in air pollution, the amount of greenhouse gas increases, and here it means it enhances the greenhouse effect and cause global warming and therefore climate change. In addition, the air pollution causes ozone layer depletion. So chemical release by our activities affected the stratosphere, and the release of CFC or the chlorofluorocarbon from heating, aerosol cans and refrigeration equipment leads to depletion of ozone layer. Ozone can do an important job. Ozone protects us from UV ray, and here depletion of ozone can cause many issues. It can affect the aquatic system, it can affect the phytoplankton, it can affect fish, it can affect also all animals living in the ocean and water also. It can affect materials by degrading depends on plastics, and it also can affect global warming climate by increasing or by enhancing global warming effect. Moreover, air pollution can cause smog, so ozone and other compounds found in smoke can cause your eyes to water and sting. In addition, air pollution can affect wildlife because toxic chemicals in the air can force wildlife to move to new place and change their habitat. The question now is how we can minimize or how we can avoid or how we can reduce air pollution. There are many steps that we can do in order to reduce and to avoid air pollution. The first one is saving energy. We need to save energy everywhere, in our work, at home, everywhere. How? For example, by using energy saving. Here, by turning off computers, TV, and other electrical items when you are not using them. We need, for example, also to put the kettle only boil the amount of water that we need. The second step to reduce and to avoid air pollution is by planting trees. And as you know, we talked in the previous chapter. We talked about the importance of tree in reducing the pollution. So as you know, planting tree can take up a variety of air pollutants, also can reduce building energy. Why? Because planting tree can lower the temperature and shading building during summer, but also block wind and winter, and also emissions of volatile organic compounds by tree can contribute to the formation of poison and carbon monoxide. Third step is by replacing our energy generation, the source of our energy or electricity generation, by clean and renewable sources such as wind and solar energy. Also, we need to reduce the air pollution caused by transportation. How? By walking, biking, or using public transportation. We need also to reduce the amount of our waste by following the R3, which is reducing, reusing, and recycling. For example, by recycling, we can send less materials to landfills, so we can save land usage for landfills. And also by reusing, we can save resources. We can save the resources and also reduces the need for manufacturing and also cutting trees.